Well, howdy and welcome to Cereal at Midnight. My name is Heath, and this is the latest stack of fresh flavors. If you're new to the idea of fresh flavors, you're like, what's he talking about? It's new releases. It's new movie physical media releases. There is going to be a music palooza coming very soon. That's going to cover the audio side of things, new music releases, because I'm a huge music fan too. But this is going to be movies. This is going to be the movie episode. So we got a lot of ground to cover here. There's, I think, 18 titles, but one of them has 30 movies on it, I believe. So there's a lot to talk about here. I'm going to kick us off with, it's no coincidence I'm wearing my Santo shirt. Enter Santo. This is a new box set from Powerhouse Indicator. This is a Region A, B release. ABC. It's ABC. Here, it's region free. There we go. Right there on the package, Region A, B, and C. Mine, it's limited to 6,000. This particular box set is limited to 6,000. Mine is number 5,909. I don't know if that's representative of where I fall in the overall print run. Maybe there's 3,000 of these just in warehouses somewhere. I don't know, but you should know that. Like, mine is number 5,909. Santo. This is the first two Santo movies. Essentially, this is 1961. It is. Here, I'll show you guys everything that we got here. It's a really nice package. So Santo versus the Evil Brain and Santo versus the Infernal Men. This, of course, comes away. And there's the... You know what? Here, I'm not going to take this off right now. I'm going to hold this up, and if you want to freeze that, there's a lot of stuff here. I don't want to just read extras to you guys. So freeze frame to your heart's content. We have reversible artwork here for the two pieces, for the two movies. It's two discs. Show you the other artwork. I flipped it around because I like to have as many unique pieces showing as I can. But there's a ton of stuff here, you guys. And I'll say the most important thing, the conversation leader needs to be that it does have the original Spanish audio, the Spanish language audio. These are really, really famous films that are rooted into the Spanish-speaking tradition. I know a lot of people grew up with these movies, and I talked to Robert Blair from VCI Entertainment, and he talked about how when he licensed the 8 movies for Santo that he did, original Spanish language audio wasn't even on the table. They had retained that for their own, I guess maybe for domestic audiences. Or I don't know why. And I don't even know who the company is. I think it's one of my deductive reasoning has led me to believe that those 8 movies are held by one of the TV companies in Mexico, and they're holding on to the Spanish language rights for that. So he picked up the English, in the new English, he picked up the films, created a new English dub with the cooperation of Robert Rodriguez, but here, original Spanish audio and the English dubs. So there's multiple options here, and 4K restorations from the original 35mm camera negatives. Looking for El Santo is a 31-minute doc from 2023. Again, now I'm just reading stuff to you, and I didn't want to do that to you. It's loaded, man. And we have a booklet. I mean, this is the book. This is not even a booklet. This is a book. And lots and lots of really great information about the Santo films. I'll show you the table of contents so you can see what's included. And I love this reversible poster, which recreates the original. Would these be lobby cards? They're too big for lobby cards. Just they're posters. Someone said, you have to choose which side of this you want to display. I wish we had 2 of these so we could hang both of them up, but you got to choose. It's a tough choice. So this is great. And the movies are a little bit more, if you're familiar with some of the later entries in Santo, even some of the really horror-focused stuff, these are a little bit more serious. Serious is not necessarily the right word. They're a little less campy, is what I would say. So this is great. I don't think more of these are coming. Now, I'm just speculating here, but given that the Santo rights are all over the place, I think there's a reason we only got 2 of these in one box, because this could have been, well, okay, let's let's talk about this. I'm going to skip over this one for just a second. So this is Magic, Myth, and Mutilation, the micro-budget cinema of Michael J. Murphy, 1967 to 2015. I know a lot of YouTubers have been talking about this. I wanted to wait until I'd spent a little more time with the set until I made a video about it. But the reason I'm saying what I'm saying, so these are the movies included here. I feel like if they could have done more than 2 Santo movies, they would have thrown together as big of a box as they could, because we know they like to do this at Powerhouse Indicator. This set is also a region ABC, so this is a region-free set. Here's the thing about Michael J. Murphy. Nobody knows what these movies are until they got this set. Like, these were super obscure. He was a UK-based filmmaker that... It's micro budget, man, and I think that the idea of any like distribution for these outside of his, even in his area, even in the UK, I think these movies really flew under the radar. And it's hard to talk about these, especially because I haven't watched all of these. Here's what's included. I've been dipping my toes into this set, and I don't really know what to think about it yet. Honestly, I don't know what to think about it because they are micro-budget movies. The first disc, I was trying to take it chronologically, and the first disc is really incomplete stuff. And the first movie on the set, they actually say, they're like, if you're interested, they're like, we recommend you start later in the set. To which I'm like, well, why didn't you put later in the set first? Why didn't you start me with the most commercial stuff instead of the incomplete movies? They're like, you know, they're incomplete. The soundtracks for some of them are like in fragments. And like sometimes they have to tell you what, like, here is where this was what was supposed to happen in the original version, but it's been all cut away and stuff. So fragments. The first disc is really fragments. I'm going to say this, and I can't make any definitive statement about this yet, but micro budget is a really interesting art format. Micro budget means no money. It means no money. You know, we talk a lot about micro budget horror. Well, micro budget can be synonymous with no plot, no story, no purpose. And that's the thing that happens a lot. People that can't make movies go out in the woods and they make a movie because they want something to sell. That's a thing. Micro budget movies can mean just amateur crap. People that do not have the skills to make something on a professional level. It can also mean lack of money, lack of funds to go to financing. You know, a movie is expensive to make. You're going to spend a minimum of like $100,000 to make something that's going to get seen at any sort of a larger scale. So I'm not sure about these movies yet because I haven't seen all 30 of them. I mean, I've only seen a few of them. What I've seen so far, I'm just not sure. It could go either way. It's like on a razor's edge, right? I'm like, what I've seen doesn't have a lot of plot. It doesn't have a lot of story. Well, that's got nothing to do with budget. Your story, you can make a play for free. You can cast your friends in a play. If you got a good story, good dialogue, you know, that's micro budget, but I'm not sure. It kind of just seems from what I've seen so far, and again, it's incomplete. What I've seen is very like verite style, like let's go hang out in Greece and we'll film you guys going around and doing different things, and not a lot of dialogue and some of this stuff. It's really just like, let's go on vacation and make a movie. I know that's not where he stayed, and as he continued to work, his scope got bigger and bigger, more ambitious, and I don't. That's really all I've got to say about this. Is that it's not an endorsement, but I think that like people, I'm seeing a lot of really, really supportive reviews for this set because people are like, wow, I think the idea is like once you spent so much time with this guy, you're like, well, he's one of us. One of us. You see the humanity behind the filmmaker. You see the fingerprints. And if you saw my recent video about reboots, remakes, recycling, that's really what it comes down to. Is like a lot of the stuff that's coming out right now, you don't see any fingerprints. So I think what we resonate with something like this is we get to see the fingerprints of the filmmaker. And that's really cool. There may be a more in-depth review for this down the line. That's really all I have to say about it right now. The purpose of me including this in this video is so you know about it and so you have kind of an overview of what's included. It is filled, you guys, it is filled with extras and special features. I'm going to hold that up. You can freeze that and check everything out for yourself. It is a career in a box, is what it is. But it's a micro budget career, and that's not going to be for everybody. And even people that like micro budget movies might not be so attracted to this because it might be a little artsy for some people. I think that's what it comes down to too. Is like, is it exploitation? Is it exploitation stuff, or is it like an art film kind of a thing, an art school film, experimental kind of a thing? That's what it is. That's what I've got to say about that. That's all I got to say about that. All right, Party Girl from Fun City Editions. I love Parker Posey. So anything Parker Posey is in is already on my radar. I love Parker Posey because whatever she's in, she is just out of step with whatever the mainstream is. She's just a little bit askew. She seems to be she's in her own movie, you know, like whatever it is. I feel like she's just there for herself to do. I'm not saying she's not a team player or anything like that. She is very unique in everything that she's in. And I really like that. I've had a crush on Parker Posey for decades. I think going back to Dazed and Confused, probably was at 93. So this is 95. I think this is really her first starring vehicle. She is the lead. She is the party girl of the title. She just kind of lives a wild life in New York in the mid-90s, and there's a heavy focus on the house music scene. She's super into fashion, which I think a lot of that was coming out of Parker Posey's own private life too. Like what she brought, she just kind of, not that she's not playing a character, but I think she brought a lot of her own style, a lot of her own sensibilities to the movie. And I just think she's the best. And this movie has a huge cult following, and now it has a great physical media release from Fun City Editions. And it's loaded with, well, first of all, 4K restoration. Now, this is a Blu-ray, but a 4K restoration from the original 16mm original camera negative. That's how you know it's indie, man. It was shot on 16. There's over an hour of new interviews. They got they roughly break down to like 20, 25, 30-minute interviews. Got a new 25-minute interview with Parker Posey. They talked to the director for a while. They talked to the co-writer, and they talked to the music supervisor. And then there's a theatrical trailer, newly recorded audio commentary by Jake Fogelnest, booklet with an essay by DJ and writer Margaret Barton Fumo. Now, they're putting so much, like the music supervisor, DJ, it's because house music is such a huge part of this movie. It's really capturing a scene at that particular time. It's capturing a time and place. So we have reversible artwork with that artwork on the front. And as a fan of this movie, this is what we've been waiting for. I feel very blessed that Party Girl has this kind of attention. So if you're a fan of this movie, you have got to pick this up because this is like a love letter to Party Girl. Switching gears to Classic Flix. We got a couple of new titles from Classic Flix. I did 1-minute reviews for both of these, but I would be remiss not to talk about them in this video because this will likely capture an even larger audience. By the way, I do like the format of a 1-minute review. I was really hesitant to YouTube Shorts. YouTube is pushing Shorts, as you know, right? Because you open up your feed and it's just lots of Shorts. YouTube is pushing Shorts, and I was like, here we go again with something else that I can't get on board with. But you know what? 1-minute reviews are great on that platform because it really keeps you to the point, and you have to construct what you got to say. It's good. I like 1-minute reviews. So there's a 1-minute review for both of these on YouTube Shorts. If you're subscribed, you've probably already seen them. Start with Obsessed, which is a 1951 whodunit. As I said in my review, I don't want to repeat my review because I want you to watch the review, but it starts as one thing and it goes somewhere very different. This is a whodunit. It's like a chamber mystery of like, who did someone kill that woman? And we have suspects. There's essentially like 4 people in the movie. 3 of them are suspects. And the 4th one is the inspector from Scotland Yard. It's British, it's independent, and it's from the early 50s, right? So it kind of feels like a holdover from the 40s, because like 1951, still kind of the 40s, the lingering impact. It takes a while for each new decade to take a tone of its own. But it's a fun movie, and I really enjoyed it, and I had never seen it before. So this is it's a 4K restoration. This is a Blu-ray disc, but it looks really, really good. So if you're a fan of stuff like this, you definitely want to check out Obsessed. You also want to check out The Long Wait. This is a 4K. This is actually a 4K Blu-ray combo pack. Oh, hold on. Let me show you. Let me do this too. There's Obsessed. It's really well done. You know, what David at Classic Flix is doing, I have so much admiration for, because he's not a big studio. He's not even a big distributor with, you know, like tons and tons of employees. It's very hands-on, right? It's very personal. And the quality that David at Classic Flix is bringing to his label and to all of these releases, partnering with just the right person for just the right project. Max Allan Collins. So this is Mickey Spillane, based on Mickey Spillane's story. Again, I did a 1-minute review for it. I showed off the book in that review. But this is The Long Wait. It is like textbook film noir. And it's really, it's interesting. You know, it takes some turns. Spillane is a very unique character. If you know Spillane, like, he came under a lot of heavy fire for sexism and misogyny, and just like some people would say his movies were, I don't, like, they were erotica. They'd be like, oh, those movies are just dirty books. You know, he had a reputation for being just base, titillation is kind of what it came down to. Just like, you know, almost like spicy, you know, if you know what I'm talking about, like in the 40s and stuff, you had like spicy novels. 40s into the 50s, and that was like, ooh, that's the naughty stuff. I think that he rose above that, and I think that this is a really good adaptation of the story, made more palatable for a general movie audience, because of course you can't do all that stuff in a feature film, especially not in 1950, was it 54? So Max Allan Collins, who is not only was a friend of Spillane and a collaborator, but continued a lot of Spillane's work, and remains probably the living authority of Mickey Spillane. He contributes an audio commentary to this release. It's great. He's honest about the movie, and when something, he's like, you know, I think that this was, here's how it is in the book, here's how it is on the screen. That's probably an improvement. Like, I appreciate that's valuable information for me. So, audio commentary by Max Allan Collins. There's an image gallery, and the image gallery is taken from Max Allan Collins' private collection. So, there's really good stuff here. Anthony Quinn, who was, I think this is kind of like his first, he'd done a lot of, Anthony Quinn is great. He would continue to develop throughout the 50s as a particular kind of person. This is really early. I feel like it's early days for Anthony Quinn. I don't have his resume opened up here in front of me to be like, well, in 1951, but it's an early starring role, and he does really, really well with the part, because it's an amnesia story, and it's not like, he could play likable, he could play unlikable. It goes back and forth. It's a very gray, nuanced kind of a thing. It's a great movie. I'm so glad this is on 4K. It looks great. I should tell you guys, there is no HDR for this. I don't know that you would tell if there was. We've talked about this before with I, the Jury. It's just out of reach down there. I, the Jury this is the second 4K from Classic Flix. I, the Jury was their first 4K, also from a Mickey Spillane story with Max Allan Collins' involvement. No HDR on that one either. But with black and white movies, if the, you know, you're talking about various levels of gray. I think I see a difference when I watch Universal monster movies that have HDR. I think I'm like, oh, the blacks are deeper, but really, it's splitting hairs. So just know it's a 4K transfer on a 4K disc. You also have a Blu-ray. Looks really great. This is something I'm really curious about. This is European Westerns release number 1. This comes from, who is the company behind this? First Line, Dorado Films, in association with First Line Films. And it's 7 from Texas on Blu-ray, and a bonus DVD with $100,000 for Lassiter. So I've seen neither of these movies. And if you've heard me, a lot of you guys have been with me for a long time. We've heard me preach this sermon before. But the same affection that exists for like giallo, right? And like the whole, like all these Italian exploitation movies of the 70s and the 80s, spaghetti westerns have not seen the benefit of that. You know, there's all these, like, I mean, look, I got like 3 box sets of giallo right here. Haven't bought the white one yet. I'm debating the white one. I don't have any of those movies that are in the white set, so I should get it. But all these giallo films are getting these loving restorations. Spaghetti westerns was kind of like it was a disposable genre for a long time. Let's be honest. You see a lot of these movies on public domain packs, and they exist in like 3rd generation dupes from a TV videotape, like a tape for television. for all of my life, when these movies would come on television or even in the public domain sets, they've been smooshed out of their original aspect ratio, so they're way stretched out. They look like garbage. So that's not the case here. These look like they've been lovingly cleaned up. I'm not sure about the DVD here, but I mean, the screenshots, obviously I have not had a chance to pop this in yet. The screenshots here really look clean. So I'm excited about that. And we've got an 8-page booklet by Thomas Betts, a 12-page booklet. You're like, what? 2 different booklets? Yeah. So here is this. It's like the press book. Whoa. And then here is another. Oh, this is just the. It's like an art card. Another art card. Poster art is what it is. So here's one booklet. This is 7 from Texas, Hour of Death, Film Insights by Tom Betts. And I mean, look, everything looks like it's in its original aspect ratio. Do they say? By the way, this is region A, B, and C. Yeah, they're both in their 2:3:5 anamorphic widescreen image, which is very much appreciated. 7 from Texas. This is the other booklet. Rich with text. So, I mean, I'm excited about this because I love Westerns. I love spaghetti Westerns. And European Westerns have not been treated well. So here are 2 more films. Hold on. 1 Blu-ray, 1 DVD. I think a lot of you guys are going to be curious about this because I'm noticing in the time that I've been talking about Westerns, people are turning around on it. I hope I've had something to do with that because I adore Westerns. I'm seeing more interest rising. Okay, so let's move on to, this is from Full Moon. This is Sorority Babes in the Slime Bowl-orama 2. Now, what's interesting about this is that it's directed by Brinke Stevens, who I have interviewed and who is just a lovely person, and she's smart as a whip, and I am really excited to check this out because it really seems like it's a passing of the torch kind of a thing. We've got Kelly Maroney, we've got Michelle Bauer, we've got Brinke Stevens, but it's introducing like a new generation. How do they? Kelly Maroney, let's see. Top line's a cast of wacky newcomers and legendary Scream Queen Brinke Stevens. Get ready for a wild ride. So, it's a sequel, but the idea behind I rant in that remakes video because there's so much franchising. This gets a pass for me. One, because it's low budget. It's independent horror. And this is not something that was super financed by, these major corporations. This is something that was produced and directed independently. And that's really cool. So this is not going to be for everybody. It's not going to be for everybody, but I like the idea of the people from Sorority Babes and the Slime Bowl-orama getting back together years and years later and passing the torch to a new generation, and that one of them directed the movie. That's really, really cool. So we'll have more to say about this later. We've got special features, Brinke versus the Imp, original trailer, and Full Moon trailers. If you want to see my interview with Brinke Stevens, I had the occasion to talk to her for Make Flix, J.R. Bookwalter's label, his distribution company. And it was for a movie that she had made with Fred Olin Ray, and I'll link to that. So if Fred Olin Ray was there too, so I got to talk to them together. And I'll link to that in the description of this video. But it was a great conversation, and I just think really, really highly of Brinke Stevens. She's very, very. I mean, she's like scientist. Like she's like part scientist, part scream queen, and I love that those two things exist side by side for her. That's just so cool. For the Kung Fu martial arts movie fans, this is Jet Li, The Legend of Fong Sai-yuk, 1 and 2 from, who is this, Scorpion? Hold on, guys. Who is releasing this? I do not see the distributor of this movie. Well, all right. it's both movies. The reason I was thinking Scorpion is because they were doing a double feature on their site. It was an exclusive to their site for a while, and then it went wide to Amazon. And I was thinking this was the same thing, but that does not seem to be the case. And I still do not see a distributor anywhere on this. It's 2 movies on 1 disc. They do have special features: Hits Hard, and Fly High, an exclusive interview with the director Corey Yuen. The Pen is Mightier Than the Sword, an exclusive interview with writer Jeff Lau. A new audio commentary with Chris Poggiali. And that's on the first film. The second film, just theatrical trailer. But anyways, both movies in the series on 1 Blu-ray. And I know a lot of people are excited about this one too. I've still never seen this movie. It's the Grand Tour, getting a new release from Unearthed Films, Unearthed Classics. So if Jeff Daniels, Ariana Richards, it's a really cult classic movie. And maybe I have seen it. I just don't recall it whatsoever. But I love this edition. I mean, they really pulled out all the stops for this. We've got, is it 2 pieces of artwork or 3? It's 2, because this is the reversible here. It's David Twohy, who is the guy behind Pitch Black and the Chronicles of Riddick. And let's see, we got a Timescape title sequence, Lost to Time, Cannes promo, or Cannes promo, production stills, poster mock-up, and artwork gallery. I enjoy science fiction with cinematic science fiction. That's a good way to put it. When was the last time we got one of those, too? To go back to my remakes, reboots, recycle video. We do get science fiction movies, but like, thinking of something like Event Horizon, you know, do we kind of Oblivion? That's such a big movie. I don't know. There's something I have a real soft spot in my heart, and I always will, for these cinematic science fiction movies done for not a ton of money. Who released this originally? What company was this? Was this independent? Drury Lane Holdings. Based on the novella Vintage Season by C.L. Moore, screenplay by David Twohy, directed by David Twohy. Twohy? I think it's Twohy. From VCI, Tonight or Never. This is Gloria Swanson, Melvin Douglas. It's a 1931 pre-code that I'm loving what VCI is doing with their Mary Pickford Foundation, Mary Pickford Company collaboration. So this is the latest in the line of those. Check out this pull quote from the back. This is one of the sexiest pictures of all time. Says The Hollywood Reporter, November 5th, 1931. One of the sexiest pictures of all time in 1931. That is fascinating to me. I cannot wait to check this out. This just arrived like yesterday as I'm recording this. Commentary by Mick LaSalle. Liner notes by Richard Barrios. Poster and photo gallery. You know, I don't like to read to you guys, but I'm gonna read a few things here because they can say it better than I can probably sum it up for you. One of the greatest of all film divas, Gloria Swanson. I'm ready for my close-up. All right, holds court irresistibly in the spicy 1931 comedy. Let's see. Tonight or Never features a stunning gowns by Coco Chanel for those that are tuned in the movies for the gowns. Maybe you guys remember anybody watch Gravity Falls? Any Gravity Falls in the fan and Gravity Falls fans in the audience? Remember the episode where Uncle Stan is watching he's watching an old movie and it's like gowns by so and so and he's like, no! Are people watching for gowns? Maybe they are. Costumes by Edith Head. It doesn't say that. That's later. Eye-popping cinematography by the legendary Greg Toland, an elaborate production, and one of the first scores by premier Hollywood maestro Alfred Newman. Guys, that's a lot of pedigree in this one movie. So it just looks great. This is exciting for me. So let me pop the disc off here. Get the booklet out. There's the interior artwork. I'll give you a quick tour through the booklet. I know there's a lot of you guys out there who love classic movies, pre-codes, even silent movies as much as I do. So, all right. I wanted to shout this out too. So, if you saw my or heard, it was a podcast episode. My interview is the 3D Manifesto with Dan Person. This is the name of the episode. So he had restored, or restored is not the right word. He had converted Gamera, the Goodman cut, into 3D because he wanted it to be in 3D. And he said in that episode his next project was going to be Carnival of Souls. So he sent this over to me, and I'm showing it to you. This is his latest 3D project. I love how customized it is. This is burned exclusively for Serial at Midnight. And of course, he did include the 3D glasses that I will need to view it. It's an anaglyph. It's not going to be for everybody, but I heard from a lot of you guys who were like, this is awesome. So be aware, Carnival of Souls coming soon. The link to is I'm just like, what all do I want to tell you guys? The Space Brains 3D is his process, and it's his Etsy store, which I'll link to in the description of this video. And yours, I don't remember if he's doing this for all of them or not, but that's sort of signed and personalized and dated. So it's very cool for those that are into it. New releases from Mill Creek Entertainment, and then I think we're out of here. Yeah, so we have 3 new installments in their retro VHS slipcover art series. We have The Fan with De Niro and Snipes. We have Fear with Mark Wahlberg and Reese Witherspoon, and we have Problem Child with John Ritter. I'll show you. Part of the appeal of these slipcovers is that they remind guys like me of the video store era. I don't think any of these have any special features. I think they all come. Let's see, this is Columbia. This is Universal. And Problem Child is Universal. So I don't see any mention of new special features here. But what I like about these is that they are the right price. You usually get them for under $15, usually closer to $10. And they all have, if you hate these, which some people really hate these, it's so weird to me, right? Well, they have the original artwork, or they have different artwork, so you don't have to have it. You don't have to keep it. It's so interesting to me that slipcovers have split fandom. Some people love them and will pay hundreds of dollars for a slipcover edition of something, even though it's just a piece of cardboard. Other people hate them and immediately throw them away. I think of what Frank Tarzi said in the first interview. Frank Tarzi from Kino Lorber, the first time I interviewed him, said that he doesn't like them because they take up space, shelf space. Once you add all those things up, you've lost a lot of shelf space. He's right. And as somebody who's been finding alternate storage methods for my stuff now since, for the last 3 or 4 months, and that's a process that continues. I appreciate, I can appreciate that statement. I'm smelling what the Rock is cooking on that one. Also from Mill Creek Entertainment, this just showed up. I've seen none of it, but I am interested in it. This is The Center Seat, 55 Years of Star Trek. This was a series. I don't know where this series aired or streamed or wherever it was. It's a 11-episode documentary series that takes viewers on the definitive, in-depth journey behind the scenes of one of the greatest landmark franchises of all time, Star Trek. So having not watched any of it, I'm looking at the back of this. I'm like, a lot of these people have left us now. Kirstie Alley is here. She's no longer with us. Leonard Nimoy is no longer with us. Nichelle Nichols is no longer with us. So I'm glad that these were captured when they were. I can't speak to the quality of this, but I think it's interesting that this has been collected into a DVD series. No Blu-ray series, just DVD. So it's got all of the 11 episodes. And then disc 4 is bonus material. So it's the uncut interview with Leonard Nimoy, an uncut interview with Nichelle Nichols, and the uncut interview with Kirstie Alley. And they are stacked 4 on top of another on this hub. I don't love it. I know a lot of you guys don't love it either. We should remember that when DVDs and Blu-rays and 4Ks are manufactured, they are stored on hubs, just like that one. They're stacked on top of each other. Sometimes, mini deep. That's how they're made. So anytime that you're like, I can't have my discs stacked, they were stacked at one point. Even if you didn't stack them, they were stacked by somebody, by a machine in a factory somewhere. That's how they're made. I don't love it. I like to see things spread out, but it is what it is. Last but not least, we have 2 stand-up comedy DVD releases. I'm a huge stand-up fan. I have a lot of stand-up comedy on disc. So we got Jim Gaffigan, 2 stand-up specials, and Mike Birbiglia, 2 stand-up specials. It's Noble Ape and Quality Time for Gaffigan, and it's My Girlfriend's Boyfriend, and My Girlfriend's Boy. No, What I Should Have Said Was Nothing. So both of these, it's 2 specials on 1 DVD. I watched both of these discs. They're fine. Quality-wise, they're fine. It's DVDs. So, you know, if you're wondering, like, well, compression, they're not long enough to be compressed. 76 minutes and 60 minutes and 90 minutes and 75 minutes. So under 3 hours for both. It's fine. They look fine. And if you like, I appreciate the opportunity to be able to own stand-up specials, because I got David Spade stand-up, I've got Dana Carvey stand-up, I've got like Def Comedy Jam, the Time Life Def Comedy Jam set. Man, that's a doozy. But I don't know, I'm a big fan of stand-up, and I like to see these things getting disc releases, because that's not a given these days. I feel like in today's current marketplace, getting a stand-up special on DVD is kind of a treat. It's kind of a rarity or something. So if you're interested, it's out now. We got a lot more stuff to talk about coming soon. We'll talk about the music aspect of things. There's a ton of great, really like legacy reissues, catalog reissues, things like that. Career-spanning retrospectives. We'll talk about all that soon. Keep your eyes peeled for Music Palooza. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. Deep dives into new releases, but with conversation about what's actually on the disc. Conversations about what you get when you buy the disc. I try to always bring a level of substance to these kinds of videos. So thank you. I really appreciate you. Take care. Until next time, I will catch you later.